I think we should toss out all salt grinders and stop using them. They're idiotic. On one hand, you can have fine ground salt from a salt shaker, from a salt grinder, which takes forever to actually do, and it also has no benefit. Unlike freshly ground pepper, salt does not taste any differently coming out of a grinder versus being pre-ground. There's no freshness, there's no taste being lost if you grind it ahead of time. So what we're actually doing is we're wasting our own time having to sit there and keep cranking the damn thing. And for me personally, I salt my food heavily because I feel best when I do that. I literally have to crank that thing so much, and it's annoying. I was once doing a recipe, and the only sea salt we had in the whole house was in a salt grinder, and I had to attach a drill to it with duct tape in order to actually speed up the process. And even then, it still took me about a minute to get the amount of salt I needed for the jerky I was making. Besides that, if you want to go coarse salt, on the other hand, and not grind it as much so it doesn't take as much time, you're risking tooth enamel wear. And I looked this up this morning because I was eating a steak, and again, still the only sea salt in my house is from a grinder. So I was grinding it, and I was biting down, I felt like the salt on my teeth as I was chewing. I wonder if this is bad. I wonder if I'm wearing away my teeth. So I looked it up, and yes, salt can damage the enamel of your teeth, especially if you're chewing them directly or if it's on food that you regularly consume. If salt is a frequent part of your diet, which it should be, at least for me, and you bite into coarse crystals often, it can increase the chance of gradual enamel decay. And then the combination of salt with acidic foods is even worse off for you. Even though, if you know the Moore's hardness scale, which is something that we use in engineering to determine the hardness of something, even though salt is a 2.5 and tooth enamel is a 5 on the scale, you can still damage the teeth through the regular chewing of it, or the regular consumption of coarse salt. And give me a second. So salt is higher than most organic foods that we would normally eat, which don't have a standard abrasive hardness but are typically much softer. Many foods, especially soft fibrous ones, lack any rigid crystalline structures of salt. The coarse edges and jagged edges of salt structures can make them more abrasive, unlike smoother crystals. But then sugar is also something that has a 2.5, but it's not nearly as damaging to the teeth because your saliva breaks it down and it's a lot more soluble in the saliva. So the edges get worn away a lot quicker. But basically all I'm here to say is at least be aware of the stupidity of salt shakers, even if you decide to keep, not salt shakers, salt grinders, even if you decide to keep them. You're really just wasting your time, and then you're also, if you go too coarse with it, damaging your teeth, even though it will take a while for the effects to actually take hold. But over years, which is how long, you have 100 years to live or so. Over that course of time, you will damage your teeth by eating coarse salt. Peace out.